Chapter 2 Starboy. You know how it is when you're on the beach on a white, sunny morning and you shut your eyes tight? What you see isn't exactly dark, at least not dark the way it's dark when you're inside your house at night and you can't make anything out when every noise is a question you can't answer. What you see with your eyes closed during the day is something different. It's like deep water, a pond that's draped with shade. I don't know what makes it happen. The fins of tiny fish, or their eyes, the sparkle of agates, but there are lights moving down there. Something to watch. It's the same on a night when there's no moon and you look straight into the sky. The more you watch, the more you see. Grains of white sand, it looks like, and sometimes one drops so fast you can hardly follow it before it's lost. What I don't like is nothing. I don't mean I like everything, because I don't. I don't like it when my sister wakes me up. I don't like to eat fish with too many bones. I don't like those hungry bugs, so small you don't know they're there until they bite you. But mostly, I don't like nothing. Nothing. I don't like it when there's nothing to hear, nothing to taste, nothing to touch, especially when there's nothing to see. Those times, I don't know where I am. The first night I woke up and noticed that everyone was invisible. I held perfectly still and disappeared. I became nothing too, and I didn't know how to get back. Finally, I talked to myself, whispered a little song my father sings when he speaks to the birds, excusing himself for bothering them. I rubbed the tip of my thumb against the tip of my fingers. I touched my tongue to my lips and tasted salt from the ocean, and I waited that way until the day remembered us and returned. "Why are you awake so early?" my mother asked me that morning. "Are you becoming the same kind of flower as your sister? The kind that bends to the east and calls the sun?" I didn't like being anything like my sister, who in fact is called Morning Girl because she gets up before everyone else, so I told a different story. "I don't need sleep anymore," I said. "That's too bad." My mother shook her head and smoothed my flat hair. "How will you dream if you don't sleep? How will you hear yourself?" I thought about this problem. "Maybe you're a bat," my mother suggested, smiling at me, "and will dream all day while the rest of us work. How lucky for you." I thought of bats and how they race through the dark sky fast as late summer rain. I thought of how the wind would feel against my skin if I could fly. "It's true," I said. "I will sleep today." "And hang upside down from the limb of a tree?" asked Morning Girl, who always listened to what anyone said, even though it had nothing to do with her. "I want to see that. Maybe I'll poke you with a stick." "And maybe during the night I'll land in your hair," I told her. "Maybe I'll build a nest." "Bats don't make nests," she pointed out, but still she raised her hand to her head at the idea. "Maybe I'm a new kind of bat." "What is it about the night that you like?" my mother asked to stop the argument, but not just for that reason. She was truly interested and always listened closely to what I said. Now she stopped cleaning a maniac root and looked at me. I began, and thought back to the white sand scattered on the sky's black beach. "I like the stars. I like to look down at them." "You don't look down at the sky," Morning Girl contradicted. "You look up." "Maybe not if you're a bat," my father said, his voice very serious. His eyes were still closed, and so it seemed as though his words came from nowhere. We couldn't tell if he was joking or not. "But no one is asking the right question," he continued. "Why don't bats sleep at night? Perhaps they like the same things as this Starboy does." Starboy. That was the first time I heard my new name. Starboy. Before that, I was called Hungry because that's what I was most of the time. I liked Starboy much better. No one spoke as we all listened, testing the weight of the words. Starboy. My mother smiled. "Who is talking?" she asked at last. "Who has found such a good question? Who has thought of such a fine name for my son?" "It is the father of the bat," said my father. "The father of a morning flower. It is the husband of the mother of a bat and a flower. It is a man who is surrounded by people who talk when others are trying to sleep. I think I must be in the wrong family since I am the only one who knows the value of rest. I think." My mother looked at Morning Girl and me with her eyebrows raised, then slipped a piece of Dean fruit between my father's lips to stop his words. We all watched while he chewed. He still did not open his eyes. No, he said after he swallowed, this is not the wrong family. There is only one person who knows where to find fruit so sweet, and only one person with fingers so gentle. My mother lowered her eyes, but she was pleased. Why do bats like the dark? She asked me, returning to our conversation. Tell us, Starboy. When she used my new name, I knew it was now mine for good, and at that moment I decided that I would become an expert, a person who would be asked questions about the night and who would know the answers. Because it's big, I said. Because there are special things to see if you watch closely. Because in it, you can be dreaming even if you're awake. Because someone must remember the day while others sleep and call it when it's time for the sun to come home. My father opened his eyes at last, propped himself on his elbows, and nodded. Starboy, he said.